Hello and welcome to Radiance, the podcast, a space where mysticism, embodiment, and modern wisdom meet. Hello, my name is Dr. Irene. I am a Western medicine doctor, a Chinese medicine practitioner, and a somatic guide for women. And the theme that I'm bringing into this space today is something that I see in my clinic a lot. And it is why talk therapy is not enough for real transformation. And so I've had many testimonials or experiences from past clients that say, working with you the past couple of months have done more for me than years of talk therapy. And this doesn't surprise me because talk therapy only uses the analytical mind. And we are more than the analytical mind. And I just want to say that there's nothing wrong with talk therapy. It's just incomplete. And that is why doing processes where there's a body-mind reconnection, when we are integrating all the minds, and I'll get into that in just a little bit, there's going to be a new insight, a new experience, a new way of being than just doing your normal life through one part of your brain or of your being, which is the analytical mind, which is what we are very focused in this culture. Remember that we live in a masculine centered culture society, in a society that is focused on productivity and on doing and on fixing and on analyzing. And there is there is like a forgetfulness of the feminine, of the body, of the mystery, of the unknown. And this is where body-mind reconnection or therapy practice like hypnosis, somatics can have a very powerful impact in someone's life, and it can bring real transformation. And what does that look like? What is real transformation? So let's just go back to why people come to therapy anyways, right? And it's not because there's something wrong with me or something to yes, there is something to fix, but it's a deeper root experience that I see it as a disconnection. People come saying, I don't feel fulfilled in my life. I feel lost. I don't like my job anymore. I am not happy in my current relationship. I'm not happy in my current environment. I feel like there's something more in life than the 9 to 5. I feel that there's something more in life than this mundane, routine, numbing, everyday experience that I'm having, because we do live in a culture that foments disconnection and fragmentation, not only because of our phones and our screens, but also because we haven't been taught to connect. We haven't been taught to connect to our bodies. We haven't been taught to connect to our unconscious. Remember, like, you had a bad dream when you were a kid and they would say, don't worry, it's just a dream, it's not real, right? But dreams are very real. It's just another part of the human experience. It's another dimension of our humanity. And so that's why talk therapy is incomplete, because it doesn't take into account these other parts of the self. So talking about minds, we have the analytical mind, the left brain, which is very much, you can say, the masculine primordial energy in your body, which is about analyzing and doing and fixing and taking action and understanding, right? It's trying to bring awareness, the observation of like what's happening. But just understanding a story will not shift the way that you live it. That's where we need to bring on board the other parts of the self. So then we have the oniric mind, the right brain. The oniric mind works in symbols, works in archetypes, works in the unconscious material, the things that you don't see in your everyday, that you are not aware. And then you have the wisdom of the body, which is so important. The body reacts before the mind. We have instincts, we have this primal energy that when you go into a room that you don't like your body cringes, or if you see something that is dangerous, you go into fight or flight. These are autonomous reactions of the body that have a lot of wisdom. But the thing is that we haven't been taught to connect with the wisdom of the body. We bypass the wisdom of the body. We bypass our symptoms by taking medication. We bypass our natural cycles and rhythms by taking the pill as women, because it's a nuance. It's inconvenient. So the body is inconvenient, so we bypass it. And real transformation comes when you bridge these three minds, the analytical mind, the oniric mind, and the body wisdom. And when you bridge these three minds, you create a new experience. You unify first in one experience that will show you a new way. So this is what happens in therapy for trauma, for example. So what is trauma? Trauma it's not what happened to you, but it's how you experienced the event. And usually when there is an event that is very intense and that is life-threatening, your survival instinct comes online. So you go into fight or flight. And the most important thing in that moment is to survive, is to stay alive. So all the other things, your emotions, your sensations, your pain, like everything goes in the background, or you push it into the unconscious, you push it into the shadows, we say, so that you can cope and you can deal with what's happening with you in that moment. And so we say that we fragment because you disconnect with the emotion, with the sensation in the body, so that you can stay present and survive. And that is a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's say that, because there's nothing wrong with that process. It's so needed. The thing is that once the danger is taken away, if you don't give yourself time to reorganize, to process what happened, that energy stays fragmented. And then you start to live life through that paradigm, through that filter. So that's why it's really, really important when you have big events to give yourself time and space to integrate the experience. But because we live in a culture that is go, 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 you have to, be on all the time. There's no time for feelings. There's no time for integration. There's no time for therapy. There's no time for emotion. You have to be strong, you have to get on, you have to be responsible, you have to There's so much pressure, and we stay in that fragmentation because we don't give ourselves that space and that time to integrate the experience, so that the energy moves through your body and it goes back into the flow of your body. And then you don't stay in that fragmentation. But because we haven't been taught, then we stay that way, and we start to become disconnected and more disconnected and more disconnected. So in therapy, one of the main goals is to create more connection to self, more connection to others, more connection to life. So when you come to therapy, it's not only about coping with your life, managing symptoms. It's really about you having a life with more purpose, with more meaning, with more joy, a life that you feel alive, that you feel the joy, that you feel the Shakti moving through your body, that you feel pleasure. this is the real goal of therapy. It's not only about managing symptoms, it's not only about coping with your life circumstances, it's about having a life filled of meaning and purpose. And that comes when you recognize and you remember your true self, your true nature. And this is another thing that I wanted to touch on, because a lot of people come to therapy with this very childish or immature vision of like, I'm just here because I'm lost and I want you to tell me what to do. And this is a very immature, again, vision to enter a therapeutic process, because you are outsourcing your power into an external authority. So a good therapist will provide the space and the journey for you to reconnect with your own wisdom, to find those answers, because all the answers are within you. You have all the answers. Your body wisdom is so, it's brilliant. I was going to say so wise, body wisdom. It's so brilliant. You have so much wisdom in your body and in the unconscious. The unconscious, let's, it's full of treasures for you to discover. So for me, doing therapy, going to the unconscious, doing shadow work, doing body mind reconnection, it's like a treasure hunt. You are going into these dark places, like going into the bottom of the ocean, to find those jewels, to find those treasures. And yes, it can be scary, because remember when you were a child, not all childs, but most childs are afraid of the dark. And this is a similar thing that happens as adults. We're afraid of going into those dark spaces within ourselves, into that inner landscape, because we haven't been taught, we haven't been guided to have the experience and to know there's nothing to be afraid of. Yes, there's gonna be discomfort, because you're gonna find pieces of you that you've been rejected or that you don't like, but they need to be integrated and come back into the whole, into the holistic flow of your body. So the unconscious is such a fun terrain to explore, and so needed to really know who you are. Because if not, you're only functioning with the analytical, which is the stories that you have created from childhood and from what your parents told you, what your teachers told you, what society told you, what culture told you. But also there's so much that has been interjected in the unconscious that have created limiting beliefs from those dimensions of culture, society, parents, that you have taken as your own. And if you never go in and discover them and unearth them, you will not be liberated from them. So this is why talk therapy is incomplete, and it can only achieve a certain benefit, because the analytical mind, it's going to tell you the story over and over and over, and you can start looping. And yes, you can see it, you understand it, you know the story, and then you're like, but why, now that I see it and I understand it, why isn't anything changing? Because you haven't dropped it into the body, you haven't dropped it into the emotion. Remember that the body is the vessel of transformation, is the vessel of liberation. We need to go through the body to ascend. We need to go down, 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 deep into our inner landscapes, into our sexual organs, into our feet, into the underworld, to be able to ascend. So we need to go down first in order to ascend and to illuminate and to liberate. Just like the snake shedding her skin, you know? So talk therapy has its part. It's part of the process. But again, we need to bring in all the other parts of self, so that the goal is to joke, to become one, to gestalt into one experience. And when you do that, you have a different experience. That's why in hypnosis, it's so powerful when you go into like a past life regression or a childhood traumatic experience. And in those deep states of hypnosis, once you find the limiting belief, and then once you find the resolution and you guide the person through a different narrative, but within that state, boom, there is a new consciousness, a new way of seeing that experience, a new way of seeing the world, your life. And it's very interesting because it, like, in our brain chemistry, it is shifting our neural pathways. We create new neural pathways in our brain. Our neural chemistry gets more coherent, goes more into harmony. There is a physical impact when you do a body-mind reconnection, a hypnosis process, because remember that all memories live in the body. So we have cellular memory. And when we shift that memory, it shifts our cellular state. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating. So this is why also practices like meditation help to downregulate our default mode network, which is connected to our defense responses through certain triggers connected to a traumatic event. There is scientific research that is proving this, that we can shift the narrative through those unconscious states, and we can shift our brain chemistry and create new neural pathways to see a new experience. And this is where the benefit of therapy kicks in, because then you can live life through a different experience. Again, because if you only understand it through the analytical mind, you don't change the way you live it. You're just understanding it. And the way to change the way you're living the experience is through somatics, is through the unconscious, and bridging it with your analytical mind. And with that, you create a state of grace. And this is where the spiritual component comes in, because when you unify into your true nature. And in that true nature, you remember who you are. And it is a divine being living a human experience that is full of light, that is full of love, that is full of compassion, and that is here to serve, that is here to offer her gifts in however capacity you are meant here to do. And each person is different. Each person has a personal dharma. And so it's like transforming your personal karma into personal dharma, your hurt wounds, stories into a path of wisdom and service and joy, love and compassion, where you feel more connected, where you feel more joy, and let's say this as well, because it's not all rose colors, right? When you are more connected, you feel everything. So you're going to feel more pain, you're going to feel more anger, you're going to feel more sadness, but at the same time you're going to feel more joy, you're going to feel more lightness, you're going to feel more pleasure. So it's about living the full spectrum of the human experience fully and completely without bypassing. And so going back to what my past clients are saying, that they felt more faster results coming to see me for a couple months doing body-mind reconnection or hypnosis and acupuncture than they've experienced with talk therapy. And this is because of the reconnection process of all the parts of your being. So remember that if you are seeking help, if you feel lost, if you feel like you want an upgrade, like something's missing, or that you know that there's more, you're not content, know that you're not broken. There's just a disconnection. And all the answers are within you. You just need the right guidance to access that inner wisdom. And so with that, if this interests you, you can always explore my one-on-one sessions through my online body mind therapy and hypnosis offerings, as well as mentorship for those of you who would love a deeper dive and be in a container where you will have a catalyst transformational experience. Happy to connect with you. If you have any questions, let me know. If anything was sparked through this conversation, let me know. If anything landed, always love to know from you what landed, what got sparked, what got inspired. And thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this podcast that I love doing. Thank you for listening in, and please share with whomever you feel this would benefit. And remember to subscribe, leave comments, and until the next one, sending you many blessings. Ciao for now.